Welcome back to Strength Cultures Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. If you're like most of our new clients coming into Strength Culture, you've probably run some online templates before. Maybe you're using Jeff Nippard and some of his stuff, or even a strength program from someone like Johnny Candido. Potentially, you've even looked into something like online coaching with a specialized coach in order to keep you accountable. However, you probably then realized how expensive that can become. And ultimately, this is why we've built Strength Culture's training app. It's a brand new training app with over 40 programs that you can switch between whenever you like. We have specialized programs to target specific body parts or strength movements, as well as a bunch of educational videos that cover all of the basics and fundamentals of things like training, nutrition, programming, and technique. Even with all these benefits, I think the most important part of our training app is that you get free access to all of the coaches here on the podcast direct through our Discord. Here we can help you with things like form checks whenever you need them. You just upload a video, or even just questions related to training and nutrition to make sure that you're moving in the direction you need for your goals. The training app is normally $15 per week. However, as a loyal listener of the podcast, we have an exclusive code podcast to get your first month free. That means you get full access to all of our programming, all of our education, everything you need to succeed in the gym for free. You can use the code podcast in the first link down below. And if you have any questions, hit us up in the Discord. Welcome back to Strength Cultures Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. We're back with the boy there's. I think this is episode 65. We're nearing in on 100, fellas.
Oh, it's sort of.
Pretty wild.
I'd say maybe
once you hit 51, you're nearing 100.
Look, once again, I'm with Charlie. I think we're nearing on 75, and then once we hit 75, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Don't get three quarters.
We've just hit the half ton.
No, we're at 76, man.
You just said 65.
We're at 76.
You literally just said 65.
Can we get back on the tape? Can we get back to that replay?
You definitely said 65.
Oh, well, we're at 76.
That's why both of us were like,
oh,
we're not really near.
All right.
Is 76 close enough to 100?
Now we're nearing 100.
You can't say we're nearing 100 when you're closer to 50 than when you're 100.
Yeah, particularly if you're nearing something, even if you started the journey, you're nearing it.
Yeah, you're nearing 100. Even just episode
we're nearing
one.
1,000 episodes then, you know?
When we were building the podcast studio, nearing.
One episode. I'm keen to see how Christmas spirits goes this year.
I'm calling
Christmas
it
beers, no spirits.
Way more tame this year.
Needs to be more tame. Absolutely.
So
but yeah, we are here for the 76th episode of Strength Cultures Podcast. We have a fantastic episode lined up for you today. The first conversation is I have red raw chafing between my thighs and I need help, boys.
I need some help too.
What are we doing?
Scared of man. Oh, you got literally the same answer in the Discord last time. Everyone bike shorts, compression shorts.
Just compression shorts.
I bought some. I got Under Armour. I know Thingo uses Nike, but they're $50.
Do you wear the skin toned ones that we used to wear at football?
Black.
You wear black.
I like black.
Skin tone skins back in the day were the weirdest things.
Yeah.
Skin tone is only for games because you had to wear skin tone for games.
Oh, really?
There you
You
go.
can't wear black for the games.
Yeah.
That was why you'd wear skin tone.
Yeah.
But no, not for us. No.
No.
We're runners now.
Yeah.
We're runners.
So compression tights.
Yeah, just get them from Rebel. I got mine. The Under Armour ones were $50, and I think I said before they got the phone slot, so it's a really good little hack for people that don't want to.
Otherwise, your phone swings around a little bit.
So yeah, like we tell people they don't have a watch to take their phone for Strava, so you can throw it in there.
Or you can get one of those gimpy armbands and just drop the phone in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I got up here?
I saw those. I saw those at Rebel.
With how big your iPhones are now.
Yeah, I don't think it would work anymore.
No,
it worked with iPhone like 4.
That would throw off gate.
Man,
massively.
the worst.
Too heavy arm swing on one
Leaning
side.
over, yeah.
This is real first world problem stuff, but the worst thing was back before there was wireless headphones, and you used to train it, just cords everywhere, and they'd
Yeah, wow.
pull them out as you're training. I hated that.
Yeah.
No good.
I'm grateful for wireless headphones now.
No, use them. A suboptimal oxygenated environment. This is too early for a podcast. I'm missing out. If you want, use that.
What did you just say?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Talking in riddles.
Oh my god! You know,
Talking in riddles.
you can use those headphones. Bit of asphyxiation on the run. We're talking about BDSM the other day.
Oh, so choke yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Basically.
Choke yourself on the run. Lower oxygen environment. You got to work harder. You know, it's like those altitude marks.
It's like a reverse PED that turns into a PED when you release it.
That's it. We got
Like
there.
a slingshot.
It's like nasal breathing.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's go do a high altitude camp.
Where do you have to go? Can you go? Is there anywhere in Australia you can go?
Big Bear in Colorado.
Colorado. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any mountains in Australia?
That's where all the fighters go, don't they?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere in Australia we can go?
Kosciuszko.
I was going to say Kosciuszko.
Is that high enough? Little hill, isn't it?
Yeah, Bulla. Yeah, that's a bump in the road. That one.
Just a little hill.
Little speed bump.
Yeah, a little hill. All right, so compression shorts.
And apparently some chafe
Compression
cream. Chafe.
I don't know. I ran
powder?
the other day with the compression shorts and there was no dramas at all.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've had 0 dramas with those shorts as well. There was this chafe cream I used back in the day. Unbelievable. Worked. I couldn't believe it. The sensation was just like
Vaseline.
0
Works
friction.
Smooth.
Vaseline. I haven't used Vaseline. But yeah, there's a few things there.
Vaseline's what I use like with the wetsuit and stuff when I surf. And you're meant to use in the triathlon too to help you get off your wetsuit. You put it on.
Oh, really?
And to get off all these little tidbits. But
Seasoned vets.
yeah, the chafe is because there's nothing. Do show me a video the other day on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and this guy had done a marathon and burnt holes through his shorts from the chafe. It was red raw.
I got hectic nipple chafe from the triathlon. That was all I could think. Everyone's finished across the finish line. Everyone's like, "Oh, how you feeling?" I'm like, "My nipples, man." And I'm looking down and like I'm bleeding out of both nipples. It's not fun.
I used to get that on
I
the
tape
brick
them up next
sessions.
time?
The cotton t-shirts used to give me nipple chafe.
Yeah, we need tech gear. I think.
Yeah.
I think trying to be steezy on a run is not it.
Not it.
Yeah, we need some tech
we're
gear.
upgrading.
Yeah.
We need to get all the tech gear back.
Yeah,
I was
gotta
looking
protect
for-
the nipples. Every run after that, literally for 2 weeks, I just come back and that's
nipples.
white t-shirt and just like blood, blood through the
Tape the nipples.
my teeth.
Was it from the run particularly, or the bike, or just everything?
Or the salt water.
Oh, I think it was just everything.
Everything.
Everything on the day. But since it's just been.
What shirt did you wear?
We had
Well, the tri
They had the suit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was the water from the wetsuit, which was the tri-suit that was underneath anyway. The tri-suit. I don't know.
There might have been the
Friction.
salt as well. I was fine on the try day. I didn't get it from that material. But yeah, maybe the salt.
Yeah, you'd condition your nipples on the bricks.
Yeah, I'd been conditioned on the bricks. Sandpaper. That's sandpaper. Just chafing them
The
down.
real BDSM podcast. That's it. Yeah.
The other thing you can get is there's 2-in-1 shorts. But I just go with the compression shorts. Because
2-in-1.
the shorts with the tights in them.
They got like the under.
Yeah, it's like they're
I
an
know,
option
I feel
too.
Built-in
But
undies.
the reason I didn't get those is because I can just throw the shorts on and wear whatever other shorts I want. But Gymshark have got some.
You could dress them up, dress them down.
Gymshark, dress them up, dress them down. Gymshark have got the 2-in-1s. They've gone into the running.
Yeah, Gymshark. Apparently
got
he came out with something and said that they lent too hard into lifting.
Yeah,
They-
they've changed a bit.
They're not making enough money.
I think they are. That's a brand. He's made
That is, yeah. That's classified as a unicorn. They've got $1 billion valuation. They're
bear market.
no. He came out. He's actually awesome to follow. I don't know if you've ever Ben Francis. His name is, but no, he came out and said that I think they let too hard into lifting and they got too involved in like just like the
broy gym.
not even the broy stuff. It was almost just like the body compositional side of like what the fitness world sort of is.
Yeah.
But there's more to the fitness world than that. Like that's,
Yeah, there's so much more, and they were like, "No, we need to go back to our roots," which is apparently like originally was just like more encompassing of all of gym.
They've gone.
Saw they started. Sorry.
No, you go.
I saw they started to sponsor more people like Jamal Browner and like Steffi Cohen, so that did push more into powerlifting.
Well, they've sponsored Fergus Crawley and Louis Phillips now. They've got
there you
and they're definitely pushed more. Like Louis Phillips is.
Running.
I wouldn't even call him a hybrid. He's a runner and he does some strength and body comp training. So he's like pushes the running stuff. And I had a look at their running. They've got like they're full running products now. 2-in-1 shorts, running jackets, jumpers.
Gymshark.
Because I always thought Gymshark, back when I used to buy it, back 2014, 15, whenever it was more just, I always saw it as a lifting brand.
It was lifting. Yeah.
Similar, like, because it was like strong lift wear and stuff.
Are they still around?
Yeah,
They're still around, yeah.
still pushing stringers.
Yeah, stringers and they used to have the big graphics.
Yeah, like the camo with the big like S that you used to draw in primary school. Like
It was like the most choco gym brand ever. And I associate
Atomics red boots.
yeah,
Remember them?
the box right away.
Yeah.
There was
Gym
right
boots.
aware. There was Atomics, that other one.
The
O.
wrestling.
I kind of sometimes I get nostalgic about when I first got into like the fitness scene and like you'd go to like these expos, Arnold, and it was just like this world of like magic. All these jacked people.
Magic.
Magic.
That magic is called TRT.
No, back then it wasn't TRT. Back then it was I'm just on the gas.
That is
gas.
Psalms. Psalms had a little window there
TRT
as well.
is definitely like a post-COVID world. Post-COVID world. Post-COVID. It's in the last 3 years that's happened.
Yeah, COVID dropped your test. You're
TRT is the solution.
Yeah, that's it.
TRT is the solution. I just get reminiscent of those. I remember when I went to my first Arnold Expo, like I saw Chad Wesley Smith lifting there at Pro Raw.
Yeah.
It's just like, you go there and there was just all these people, these big icons, which is funny because now I don't look at them as,
Yeah, it's funny how
You look at them as equals now.
not equals, but like we've had Chad Wesley Smith on the podcast or like, even Eric Hunt, we've met him at the, we've who else do we know? Muscle Doc, we know like him pretty well. We've got like people that we know pretty well in the fitness industry and stuff. So it's not the same as like when you first walk in as like this 22-year-old and
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's crazy how like back then when I was first like getting into lifting and stuff, like Chad Wesley Smith was like one of the best powerlifts in the world. And like still his numbers are all time, but like now like people who probably got into lifting the last couple of years purely know him through like the AI app, or maybe don't even know him at all. Like, but back then he was fucking the coach, but also the lifter. Like,
He was the man.
He was the man. Yeah,
he's
fucking
like
oath.
more SNC.
Yeah, which is where he initially came from.
Yeah.
He just kind of swung back to it.
He won't powerlift again, he said. When we had.
He's imagine coming up against Chad Wesley Smith in BJJ. Just this like
weight-
100.
He's a big boy.
Is there weight class? There's definitely
There's weight classes.
Weight classes.
But there might be like an open that's like
They
very
do open weights and shit like
Sure,
that.
it's like
Imagine how strong and thick he is. Trying to get your arm around his neck.
So big.
Because he has the strength, but then obviously as he gets better with the technique, he'd be an animal.
Yeah.
Sit on you.
He'd be a monster.
Derek Thistlethwaite is doing it now as well.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one of the strongest lifters.
Which one's
all
Derek?
time.
Oh,
at the
Derek
moment.
with the
Death Group.
mustache.
Death Group Derek.
Derek,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just monsters.
Yeah.
Just monsters.
BJJ's.
I can see why they do it. I can see it.
I feel like
It's the cognitive challenge. Like you get, and I felt it with lifting as well. In terms of learning, it gets. I feel like there's only so much you can learn before it's just train, and then that cognitive, like being up, like whereas I feel like with BJJ, you hear more. It's like you can go for 15 years and never learn everything.
yeah, it's a big.
It's also
puzzle.
nice of all the martial arts to like not get as much head trauma.
Yes,
Like,
wrestling,
It's probably the
big one.
because like boxing would
tap.
be sick, Muay Thai would be sick, but it's like I think BJJ it's still taxing on the body,
Not the head though.
not the head, but also just like that impact, like just blunt force,
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
the body. If you get kicked, if you get punched, like you're just
different, yeah.
You're just rattled for like a while afterwards,
Yeah.
and I don't think you really have to look at lifting as like S&C.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a means to an end. It's not like an actual.
Which is
thing
why
that's-
they can swap in and out between like lifting
Yeah.
and BJJ, and it's
exactly.
alright,
They can run it concurrently and like still be sort of all right and just like push SBD hard and do jits hard, not be as banged up all the time. It's still
Whereas if you're
fucking
getting
hard,
smacked in
though.
the head, you fucking,
Mike
you probably don't want to
Isratel.
lift.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm semi-concussed all the time. The last thing I can be bothered with
Get
is
under a heavy
raising
barbell.
my blood pressure.
My ears are ringing and I've got blurred vision 24/7.
Mike Isratel, he's still doing it.
Yeah, still,
He does BJJ. Yeah.
I feel like once you get in,
He started a philosophy YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about more like global.
sociology.
So
and shit.
yeah.
He's got he's
I
got
wouldn't mind.
some
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't
deeper
mind if
takes.
it's fun.
Economics and he's doing a video on gun control, which will be an interesting one.
I wonder where he stands with that.
Yeah.
I think like with everything, he likes to go for a very nuanced approach and well thought out.
I would love listening to him talk about philosophy. I tried to.
So he's got a
Thomas
YouTube channel now.
Val- Yeah, that's what I was
What-
saying. I
what's
would
it
love to
called?
listen to it because I tried to listen to Thomas Val got me on to Noam Chomsky.
He speaks like this,
Yeah,
and
it's
if
just-
you want to talk about the issues of the world, and he's like 90 years old at this point.
It's just-
Like,
Yeah, listening to him talk in like the 70s is like, all right, this guy was speaking with a bit of pace.
Got a bit of trauma.
And just, I don't know, the weight of the world on his shoulders, plus 35 years of aging, plus. It's impossible to listen to. Mike Isratel, I reckon that would be a
bit more
fun-
peppy, yeah.
bit more peppy. Some gags thrown in. Some gags. Yeah, it's good. There's an Ali G interview with Noam Chomsky.
Oh, that's
Have you seen it?
amazing. Oh,
There's a
my
professor
God.
of linguistics, and then Ali G's like, so how many words do you know?
I need to go back and watch
Ali
some
G
of the
is
Ali
fucking
G stuff.
funny.
Ali G. Sacha Baron Cohen is. I saw a snippet from Borat because that came out when we were in year 8. So
Yeah.
we're young. I feel like watching it now as an adult, it's actually impressive.
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
Different era.
It's impressive.
It's very
None of it's
impressive.
set up. He just rocks up to places and
Well, yeah,
just
we're,
like,
we're led to believe that's not set, but it's. Oh my god!
no, I don't think
Bro,
it
he's
is,
got
man.
people. He got people sacked. Like
Yeah.
his,
Like
his
the
latest one,
politicians
the
and
American
stuff.
one.
This is America.
This is America was
Bro,
unbelievable.
he got people sacked, and the fact that some of these people got power,
It's
it is
scary.
ridiculous. Some of the shit that he got them doing, and it's like you look at this guy. He played like an Israeli, like
Sergeant,
ex-military sergeant or
Yeah.
something like that, and he's got all the plastic shit. So this guy's got this monster jaw and just chin, whatever. Surely you'd look at him like your head is busted, man. Like surely this is makeup.
But then there's other ones they show in there where people kill on straight away. They're like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, they would though.
like,
yeah. There'd probably be heaps of
But
those.
then you probably just don't see those
But
ones.
then they need a couple of good nuggets
That's all
though.
it takes. That was the biggest nugget I've ever seen. Like I can't believe that he got sacked. Which I think
As he
is, I think
should.
is probably fair. Oh, bloody cancel culture these days.
You know, a good one is for all just this politics, philosophy, all this type of stuff. Lex Friedman, he is a very good interviewer. Like he'll interview anyone, no matter what their leaning is. And like one of his like favorite phrases is like pick the opposite side's view and give them the most charitable view, give the most charitable explanation of what they have to say, or steelman their argument. And it challenges people, and it's good because you know with social media and all this stuff, it's all about fucking people staying in their camps with whatever field it is, and you know us and them and all this shit. But he just has a positive outlook for the world, and he's very pro conversation, and it's good for him to see him challenge these people to consider someone who they are staunchly in disagreement with and actually see that like the similarities or things that they can I guess agree on, which is I think a really good thing.
Need some new podcasts.
Lex Friedman is a good one. He's got heaps.
He's a thinker though. You need to listen. You need to pay attention.
It's not in the background one.
Yeah,
So
I tried the other day. I think it was you that recommended it, or someone had said something about Lex Friedman. I tried it as I was driving, and I listened to like 30 seconds, and I'm like, I actually can't focus.
Like with
I
anything,
can't focus on this.
try pick someone like you know. Like if you know Joe Rogan, like start with that
That was the
episode.
Noam Chomsky one. That was,
Well, I think that might have been the other. There's two pretty chill guys put together. Like you
too
need someone with a
chill.
bit of
yeah, I think it's walking. I think podcasts are for walking for me.
nice.
Yeah.
I want to come back to martial arts because I get intrusive thoughts, and I got one last night. I had
Like
dinner.
Charlie's running ones where he wants to beat the shit out of people. As he's running.
No. So last night I had a dinner on Chapel Street with my family, and so I parked on like one of the little car parks on one of the back streets or whatever, and I heard someone yelling on Chapel Street. Typical Chapel Street behaviors, just someone just for whatever reason like yelling. And in my head, intrusive thought, I was like, all right, this is going to be an attack, and I'm going to turn the corner, and it's going to be on me. And I'm the tall male. I've got to go in. I'm just going to have to help whatever the hell's unfolding on Chapel Street. And as I'm walking, and I'm like, all right, something. And in my head, I'm like, man, I wish I knew a martial art. Like, and I was like, maybe I'm going to come behind him, and he's going to be facing the wrong way, and I can just deck him, like tackle him, like take him to the ground. And then in my head, I was like, it's just got to be a spear tackle. Like you have to leave the ground and get your momentum into this person. And I turned the corner. It was just a junkie like running across the road or whatever. But in my head, I was like, I really want to
scare
know
off the cars.
a martial art. If you had to choose one that you not be proficient in, but would it be kickboxing? Would that be is that the
Muay Thai? So
Muay Thai?
Kickboxing traditional rules, just hands and legs.
Yeah.
Muay Thai, hands, legs, knees, elbows, and you can grapple.
And a bit of like clinch.
Muay Thai.
Bit of
And why,
clinching.
and why is that the best one?
Because you just elbow in the face.
It's standing. It's stand and
Standing.
deliver.
Fair.
You're right.
Standing. Standing.
People always say, like, oh, jiu-jitsu. It's like, oh, jiu-jitsu,
but in a street fight, it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's two of them, yeah, you might take down and fucking Kimura this
But
guy.
then the other one's got you.
But then
Yeah.
his mate's going to kick you in the back of the head and stop you in the ground. All right.
You need to stay upright.
Yeah, you may have broken this guy's elbow, but your face is in pieces. So
I think it's nice to know. It'd be nice knowing that you can.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Just
yeah.
that you're there. Like you're not going to use it, but it's there.
yeah.
It's ready
Just
to
in
go.
case.
It's ready to go.
I'll tell you when I've had some intrusive thoughts. Sometimes when you're at somewhere semi-sketch late at night taking a piss and someone comes in and like you kind of try and turn the corner just to kind of suss them out and you're like, what happens if this guy tries to jump me? I'm here, you know,
Got my dick in my hands.
urinating, like, and then you start to like, all right, so I'd turn around and I'd do this, but like once again, I'm planning it out, but
I've
you
got no
know,
idea what I'm doing.
once the rubber hits the road, we'll see what
the
actually
answer
happens.
is you keep it out, and it's the
Look, I've been there.
You keep pissing.
I've been there.
you turn.
You hope that he's and he'll just run away.
I've been there, just like big stream, yeah.
No, yes, that's it. Because then it's like, this is going to be like, oh, I was going to mug this guy, and now he's pissing at me. Who's the psycho? It's you.
You want to be the bigger psycho in that situation.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
it. Or you start screaming as well, and you scare him off,
You got to be the scarier person.
and you piss on him.
And you piss on
What do you do then? Like,
That's it.
You
And then
run.
he's gonna be like, oh fuck.
yeah.
I expected.
You got him.
I
We got
expected
him.
to
All right,
get his
that's the
phone
secret.
and whatever else.
Secret
and now
of
I've been
self-defense.
pissed on.
Piss on
So,
people.
piss on people.
Yeah, that's it.
The old gym's a Muay Thai gym.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, MA1. I think.
Right.
Yeah, the deck are really
One or
cool.
something
I've seen
like
some like
we
Googling
go
images. It
down?
looks mad.
Yeah, we should go down for sure.
There's a full ring in it.
John Tran G'd me up when they were down here a few weeks ago for meat stock. John Tran G'd me up so hard for Muay. Yeah, because
What is meat
meat stock. It's a American barbecue thing.
Oh, that makes sense.
But they have the strongman there.
Yeah.
So they were sponsoring a couple. They were coming out for that. The strongman was there.
Got meat stock on the work credit card. Nice work, John Tran.
Meat stock. But anyway, he G'd me up so hard for Muay Thai because that's what he's doing now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's doing Muay Thai because he's like, I need something, I think similar thing. He's got the gym work. He just wants something that's away from that. That's his time. He goes, and he just G'd me up.
You can use the code podcast in the first link down below to get access to all of our training programs, power building, specialization phases, powerlifting, strength and conditioning, and hybrid, as well as a whole heap of education related to nutrition strategies, non-tracking nutrition strategies. You don't have to track calories. Also recovery, anatomy, biomechanics, as well as overall training philosophy. The code for your first free month on the training app is podcast, and you can find it through the first link down below. Did he tell you when the gym's opening?
Soon.
Looks like it's
done.
soon.
I know it's like done.
It's like
but
ready to go. I
they
think
can't
it's
publicly open
Probably
it.
just one of those
Council.
permits or that's
Bureaucrats.
usual dramas.
Yeah.
But it looks nice.
Oh, it looks unreal. They showed me like the photos of it before like they started moving in and
Yeah.
stuff. I think it's going to be one of the
Strength.
premier facilities in Australia once
I'm
it's done.
keen to go up there, and we'll see it when we go up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Muay Thai. He G'd me up for it. I was like, fuck.
Muay Thai is also good because people think you throw hands in a street fight, but you break your hand. If you
Without
punch-
gloves, yeah.
If you,
Yeah,
without
yeah.
gloves,
Throw elbows.
elbows, knees,
All the other stuff.
or open hand slap.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
those
you're not going to
slap
break your hand that
Real
way.
disrespect.
You still rattle the shit out of someone.
And
Everyone
surely-
seen Master of Disguise?
Nah.
No?
Dana
Dana Carvey,
years ago.
horrible movie,
Years
but it's
ago.
fantastic.
Isn't he like a turtle or something?
yeah. He's
Turtly enough for the Turtle
the
Club.
Turtle Club. That's it. Yeah, so it's like to be a Master of Disguise. Like their martial art was slapping. It was like a slapping dummy. Because if you slap someone, it's better than a punch because you demoralize the man. But then you add to the slap, and as you slap, say, "Who's your daddy?" Then you slap, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" That was like the training. Like
Demoralizing.
it's demoralizing.
Mental
'Cause
warfare.
That's it. You slap the shit out of someone. Bro, you slap a grown man.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're
Almost
they,
as bad as pissing
they
on them.
cling
like.
to. Oh, we've added a layer. The sneak
Layers.
attack. It's got
Piss
sneak
on 'em.
attack. Piss. Who's your daddy? Slap. It's done. You've won. And you've demoralised them. Do you reckon they're ever going to mug anyone again?
They're going to need
That's it.
TRT.
They'll go from career criminal.
That guy's going to need TRT to get back from that. Test. That's what it is. As soon as it's like a so you know in like street fighting games, there's like a health bar. That's your testosterone level in a street fight.
This is free test.
As you're fighting people, you're either gaining test
Or
with
losing
your
it.
actions and like how you hit, or you're sucking the test out of them. Yeah. So if you slap with a "Who's your daddy," it's like a finisher. It just drains their test, and your test like goes to super level, and you're
It's
ready
like
to.
a Mortal Kombat fatality. Like I would rather slap someone and say, "Who's your daddy?" than rip out someone's heart. Without a doubt, way more demoralising.
100%.
And like you've killed them, but at least this guy knows he's still alive and knows that you beat the shit out
That's
of
a
him
real victory.
with the
Yeah.
slap. That's a mental victory. It's
I'm
like the Jordan Peterson lobsters. Like this guy is the weakest lobster on earth. He's done.
Shit lobster.
He's a shit lobster.
Go to the corner and think about your actions. No, I'm gonna go a step further. So you know, in some of these fight games, they bring in like they're like special characters, and Hezbollah apparently is in the new
UFC.
Imagine Jamie Buzz is like a special character in the UFC. He comes in, he's wearing BDSM, he's got a ball gag. He's got his dick out, pissing everywhere. And then he's just slapping like fucking Cyril Gahn, just like smack. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? There's just a puddle of piss on the floor.
I got wired headphones in there as well.
Yeah.
Asphyxiating myself.
Stopping that oxygen.
Anti-chafe shorts, fucking.
I got bike shorts with the cock and
Got
the
the,
ass
Oak,
cut out.
got the Oakley fucking radars on.
Stopping that oxygen.
Going
We're
straight
going
to
to
the
this to a
top.
skit. Is this going to go to the reels? This can be for the skit show, Malacca, Channel 31.
Yeah, what's our
it.
where are we at with that one?
Well, we've added. So first is the
preacher.
the pro environment choco. Was there a preacher one as well?
There was a preacher. There was a preacher, a personal trainer that becomes a preacher or something.
There's that, and now we've got the BDSM
Street Fighter.
We've got some characters.
This is Street Fighter.
It's like the Chappelle show.
That's it. We've got 3 skits right now.
Skid House.
Skid House. Fuck, that was great. And the other one was whose line is it anyway? It was a great show. And
Ronnie John's half hour was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was good.
what was the one where it was like so glad you're here or whatever?
Thank
And then
God.
they got you
Yeah.
here. They have us
Yeah.
yeah. And then you just have to walk in the door and you just got to start like
That was a classic. Yeah, there was a scene. And they used to get comedians.
Yeah,
and
like
shit.
like Hamish Blake would be on it, and he's
They need
just
to bring
like
some of
walks in
these
this
shows
random room. Yeah. I'd have to go and find some of those.
So
Some of those
glad
were
you're
hilarious. Who's
Have you you know Wayne? Not Wayne Carey. Wayne Brady from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the Dave Chappelle skit where Wayne Brady goes in? So Wayne Brady is like everyone loves him, like black comic, but everyone loves him. Super wholesome. Like he can sing, he can dance, he does music.
He's like a performer.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Like he does everything, but he's like golden boy. Like everyone in America loves him. But in the Chappelle show, Dave Chappelle and Wayne Brady go to pick him up. Like Wayne Brady picks up Dave Chappelle and they go for a cruise, and then Wayne Brady pretty much just like turns out to be like a homicidal pimp that laces his blunt with PCP and just fucks with everything. I don't know. You had to be there, sort of thing. Yeah. Watch that skit if you
Dave
haven't.
Chappelle.
Yeah. Chappelle show. Unreal. That was a good 25-minute intro, team. Well done there.
Job team.
I think planning ruins us.
No, there needs to be a couple of things because now we get
Not
to
too much planning.
we get to the 25-minute mark and we bring in our first planned topic.
There you go.
First planned topic
I think we've planned it.
is Didier. What do you want to know?
So, how to run a 5K? Shouts out Maz for the question. So, I'm very open with my clients when I don't know something. And one of my clients said, "Do you guys do programming for running?" And I said, "Look, it's not my forte, but I'll suss with Bulls and Charles. So, what better time to do it than on the podcast?"
First thing, always lie to your clients.
Lie to your clients.
Always lie to your clients.
Always
Hey,
lie.
brother, I know everything.
I got it. I got the answers.
And then in that time, because you got time pressure, because they'll need to know within the week, you need to study as hard as you can to figure that problem out within the week.
Until
And
the
then-
next check-in.
Until
Easy.
next check-in, and then you're an expert on something. They don't think you're incompetent. No, you're not incompetent, Didier.
I am. It's all right. It's okay.
I'm joking.
So just give you a little bit of context. You can tell me if it's relevant or not. Can currently do about 2Ks at a 6 kilometer pace. Wants to run once, maybe twice a week. And he does have a Garmin that can track what he needs to fucking
Just
track.
do it.
Just do it?
Just do
Yeah,
it.
well, what's the RPE, first thing? 'Cause if he's running at that pace, at 2K,
Yeah.
then I would be willing to bet that he could run slower and just do 5K. But
right, cool.
Be hard.
Then-
That sounds like me.
it would be hard, but then the issue just comes from like passive structure adaptation is can they tolerate ground contact for 5K?
He has been running like probably for like at least a year, and probably like that's as long as I've coached him. So he's been running. It's not like he doesn't run heaps, but it's not like he's only been running for a month.
What's his name? Maz.
Maz.
If you're listening, just go run the 5K.
Well, that's
but do
it.
it
So
slower.
my question was going to be, and obviously for the sake of the discussion, with someone like this, would it be worthwhile just to say, go out for me and run as far as you can, just so we can see where you're at? Like maybe it's not essential, but would that be a good place to start? Or like
Put a time cap on it. Put a time cap on it.
30 minutes.
So go run for
30 minutes and see how far you
for
get.
30 minutes.
Okay.
Keep it at this intensity. Give them like an RPE and then a talk test cap.
Yeah.
So they get subjective rating, and then just go see where you're at.
Yeah.
And then you just fuck around in those zones. So it's like if they're running twice a week, it's like, all right, just run for half an hour at this RPE, and then you might give them like a secondary stimulus, which might be.
So
high
what you're saying is
intensity.
he needs to aim high. We need to aim for a 10K. 5K is not enough.
Oh no, 100%.
Crazy.
If he's been running for a year, 2K at 6-minute pace, just run slower. You'll get to 5K. But like it's not. Again, like you've got to pay respect to progression
Yeah.
and actually not beating yourself up. So yeah, even 20 minutes, honestly, start at 20 minutes. If they're running for 12 minutes already, 20 minutes would be fine. I'm guessing that if they're just running 2K and wondering that, I was like, oh, how can I get to 5K? They're probably running that 2K pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're blowing themselves up.
They're blowing themselves
They get
up.
to the 2K and they think, holy shit,
Yeah.
I can't do any
How the
further.
hell am I
Yeah.
going to do this
slower.
for 2.5 times? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so it would definitely be an intensity thing.
Roll.
20 minutes, go slower, and just take a bit of time with that low intensity stuff, and they'll be able
I
to
definitely
run.
got that feeling of, holy shit, what have I done when I tried to do the initial 1.6 kilometer time trial, which turned out to be 1.44 kilometers. Because because my
Got
So
stooged.
you're claiming miles out here, bro.
I've never done a mile, but
So how long was the 1.44 in?
7:08.
7.
That was my time trial, but I got to the end of that and I thought my lungs were going to rip out of my
There's
chest.
going to be people at push pull run that are dead.
Well, hopefully not.
No, like
I think I'll be one of those
not
people.
dead. They're going to be on the ground dead
fine.
for 5 minutes.
No, I want to be because I want to fucking give them my all. I hope I'm on the ground.
There's gonna,
Oh,
there's,
alright.
No, but I mean dead.
That's a real athlete.
That's real Goggins.
There's a warrior.
8 minute time.
There's going to be.
Hey, forget the time. As long as you gave it your all, that's all that matters.
There's going to be some people on the floor after.
Yeah.
Goggins, he's so good.
What was the
videos
latest
Three
one?
people sent me that video.
Craig sent me that one.
I didn't watch
What
it.
was
What was
Me too.
Yeah, what was the
He was
video?
just running. He's like, I've been like pretty much just like I've been shit lately. I've been staring at my runners for like 30 minutes.
He's looking
Yeah.
big at the moment. Like his,
Bro, his arms are massive.
yeah. No, he looks bigger than normal.
Yeah, I think there's something to doing 1,000 chin-ups or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck he does.
Whatever the hell he
The
did.
other
yeah,
one,
yeah.
the other one that he did was that 30-mile run he does with his mate.
Yeah.
and
And
it was
just blitzed him.
Yeah, it was the first one post the knee surgery or whatever he had. He's like, yeah. And the wife's in the car, and she's like, usually when he goes for this run, I pass David, and then his mate's like 2 miles up. This time, I passed his mate, and now David's 2 miles off, and then she gets to David, and he's like, "Yeah, I fucked that motherfucker." And I'm like, he's just running and just talking to his wife, and he's like, "Yo, I beat him. I'm better than him. I
took his soul."
Yeah.
Imagine being mates with Goggins. Imagine
Apparently,
being mates with him. It'd be
Joe
so-
Rogan talks about it. He's like, I'll just get a voice note with him. He's like, get up, motherfucker. Like 12 o'clock on a fucking Wednesday.
It would G you up. It would G you up.
Standards.
Goggins.
Yeah, you
Was
need-
is there a video of him doing it, or is his wife just saying it? It's like he just
it's a skit.
It ties. Yeah, I'm thinking of it as a skit. Like I'm thinking of it as a skit. Like it's actually so.
There's no friend.
He's so hard, but it's like so comical at the same time. Like, it's like I just imagine his wife is like just having a nice morning, and you just see David Goggins fucking out the window, ties his arms and legs up, and just jumps in the water.
No, that's real.
It's a real thing?
Yeah, he jumped off a deck with his hands and arms tied,
tied up.
and he's like floating in the water. He's like a
Did she
dim
film
sim,
it?
just like I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
You know, that's-
David. Oh, David had his old fucking tricks again.
Have a good day, sweetie.
It was his thing was that he hates swimming.
That
So
was
he-
it,
So
yeah.
he's gonna swim without his arms and legs.
just make it as hard as possible.
Possible. And he's
Punish
in the
himself
water.
for hating
He's
it.
like, in the water.
And he'd struggle to float because he's so lean as well. Like he would just be a dense man.
It's actually fucked.
And half his legs are steel because he's had so many bloody
Have a
operations.
good day, sweetie.
Stay hard.
I was about to say, stay hard, baby. Like,
That's his last when he jumps in. Stay hard. He's the best. He's one of the best
Fucking
people in the last 10 years to come out. Like,
It's unbelievable.
Now that we have been running, like after we felt how when we did that 10K, just how hard he went. Where was it? Because when he started training, he was overweight and he just started running and he was just doing miles every day.
he was overweight.
Yeah, and I've actually got so much appreciation for how hard that would have been, just running every day. We did.
Oh man, respect to his bone density.
We spiked the
Swear to
volume
God, that's
once.
not the issue. Getting the run done wasn't the issue. It was the week after,
Yeah,
and
but
like.
could you have done another 10K the next day and the next
No,
day?
this is what I'm
That's I mean.
saying.
It's
This is
like
what I'm
it's-
saying.
You would have been
Respect to the fucking
fucked.
bone density, because I thought if I did this week again, I would have stress fractures.
I would have had a tendinopathy, 100%. Achilles.
Oh, I think I got one.
What happened, boys? You guys just jumped
You
in
went
the
too hard.
deep end.
Yeah, spike the load.
Both of you guys, all your stories and posts, like, went it too hard too early. You had to
Way
pull
too
it
hard.
back.
Bit of a common
It was
theme,
week one.
There was I was week.
It was
three,
week
all
zero.
right? I was week 3. I was a few weeks in. Week 2.
What happened? You just spiked your loads.
Got 2 G'd up, man. Like they did the tempo run, did the VO2 session, and I'm like, I'm firing. Like I felt like after the tri peak, I had a week where I got a couple runs in, did those first 2 sessions. I'm like, shit, I'm actually feeling way fitter than I was in the tri peak. I don't know if fatigue dissipated, this, that. And I'm like, I actually feel like an animal. I'd programmed a run. So that after those 2 sessions, the volume was okay if I didn't do this massive like zone 2 run on the Saturday. And then I got out and I'm like, I was programmed for half an hour, and then I ended up just like, I'm gonna run 10Ks. And then I ran 10Ks. And within that 10Ks, it wasn't just a steady 10K. I was doing surges throughout. So I was like running fartlek. Yeah, it was super unstructured. Snuck up on me. And I was like running hard 200s within it. It was the dumbest shit ever. Like the dumbest shit ever. Like if I know a client said that, I'm like, hey, fucking just rein it in. So this is it. Through experience, I now have a better service for the clients. That's what I did it for. I did it for my people.
Because you care.
Because I care. Because I care. Put myself through it.
I do it so you don't have to.
Exactly. That's it.
So
So
now
now,
nudge it to see where you're at.
yeah.
Or
So
see what it. Yeah, well, this is why we don't do it.
this is exactly why we don't do it. And it was like maybe if I stacked on a few extra Ks, like stress fractures, which would have pushed it a bit. You can't fuck with it. You can't fuck with big spikes and running volume.
That
like
was the
that
first,
much.
one of the first things that I read in the hybrid thing was he's like, it's not like lifting where you can like push through. He's like, just take 3-4 days off.
You just need to
and come back.
Yeah.
He's like, don't run slower or run less. He's like, just take it off.
You're better off having the day off.
So that's why we did that, and we felt fine. Like
Yeah.
3-4 days later, I was like, "Oh, I feel $1 million again." It was probably the best thing we did.
Yeah.
So I used
took
that
a few
approach
extra.
with my lifting for like 2 years.
3
That's where I
years.
went wrong.
So you thought it was for lifting. It was only for running.
I
Take
had
that
it wrong.
approach. Yeah.
Fuck,
3
didn't do my
years,
homework.
You don't get stress fractures while lifting. That was the problem.
No, I last week too. I just threw a random session. So I scrapped my tempo, and I'm like, I was reading the science of running, and he was talking about doing 200s, 8 200s. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go do 8 200s today. It fucked me. It's hard. It's fucking hard. But I think the speed.
See that?
I'll blur it out.
See that? Is that on my face?
No, look at me. Look at me.
No, because you were looking at me. I was like, all right, yeah.
Strength
Man,
conditioning.
High Rocks looks fucked.
Apparently, it's going nuts with applications and shit.
Is
People
it?
sign up
'cause
for it.
It's August. I'll go down. Definitely go down watch that. But I watched the documentary. Half of it got to the language. Changed to too many other languages, and I was doing cardio, and I was like, I can't focus on this.
Cup couldn't.
Cup couldn't handle it. Nah. I just don't. I was like, because you have to read the subtitles. I'm trying to do cardio. And I'm like, stay in English, please. Anyway, so I got to finish it. But the first part, there's this guy Hunter McIntyre.
Wait, are we getting? Are we
Yeah, we're
recording?
just
We're rolling. We're
Are
rolling.
we rolling?
Hunter McIntyre, and he's just like, he looks like Peter. Who's the tennis player with the headband? McEnroe, John McEnroe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like him. And he's like cutting logs in the forest, and he's like, "I'm the greatest at hard rocks." And it's just like, but like, I'm just like, this is like, you can't write this. It's like a character.
Characters. You need characters.
You need
You
characters.
need characters.
Every sport needs characters.
He's like, this sport was made for me. But yeah, it's actually when like some of the tasks I have to do. It's like, so you run a K, but then it's like 300 meters. Like there was like the walking lunges. So male weight is the same and female weight's the same. So it's not scaled. So it's like 20 kilos of walking lunges. You got to do like 100 reps each side, then run another K. And then you got to ski erg fucking 500 meters and then run another K. Like it's proper.
Well, I think one of the biggest, not complaints, but one of the biggest, I guess, complaints with CrossFit was that you never knew what you were given. Like it was always random. So you'd rock up to like a national CrossFit event, and
Could be anything.
It could be, and then one year they just brought swimming in out. Like it was just like anything could be in there. And a lot of the competitors, high level competitors, were like, well, we'd love to know what we're actually like. Even just the events. Like, do I need to work on my handstands or do I need to work on my rope climbs or whatever it is? At least with this,
Push the standard up way higher as well.
Yeah,
that
for
Dave
sure.
Castro guy, I reckon, was a fucking sociopath.
He was the original.
He was the original guy, like that
That, like,
started it
blew it
all.
up.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the CrossFit,
on Netflix.
the CrossFit
yeah.
ones? I don't know. It's like you got all these weapons talk. It's like I'm gonna fuck these people up. I don't know the way he wouldn't say it like that. It's just like
But he loved it.
he just loved it. He just loved it. And being random just didn't make sense. I don't know. I wasn't a fan. But anyway,
It looks cool.
CrossFit looks cool. Those docos are sick.
Oh, they're actually really sick.
They are so sick.
100%.
They're just weapons, man. They're just weapons. I don't know. I think there's two arguments with it. Like, it would be cool. It would push the standard up. They would train harder. They would train better. It'd be whatever. But then it's like these random events. Swimming, I don't know. Swimming.
I think they got told that swimming was coming, but they were all just. Everyone was like, "Why the fuck is swimming
yeah,
coming?"
swimming. I think is a bit,
Yeah,
but like it's still that sort of general surprise. Like, who is the most who's the biggest weapon on any given day?
And I guess
think
that's
is
the
another
pull of
cool-
it, because there's not many sports, or probably no sport, where you don't know what you're going to do. And that's their draw card. Like, you got to be ready for anything. Type thing.
GPP.
So I think with strongman, they change the events, but I'm pretty sure they tell you in advance what the events are going to be. So there's a bunch of events, but you train for the specific events of the comp that you're doing. So at least you fucking know what you're doing.
High Rocks.
Strong.
High Rocks. So, but High Rocks is there's one comp. That's it. There's just
Smell, it's going to, hits it.
But what I mean by that is like High Rocks is High Rocks. Like it's just a set amount of
It's the
events.
same everywhere.
Everywhere around the world.
believe
it's,
so.
It's the same.
My
fucking-
understanding
Push for run.
It's push for run. Yeah, it's push. We can
Push or
start our
run,
own
but it's been done in
federation,
more
Tony.
than one place.
No, we are starting our own federation.
We have
but
one.
I'm telling
Heavy
you,
Run Club.
this is going to be. It'll be big one day. telling you. Manifestation.
Push full run.
Push full run and the heavy run
It's just
club.
a sick name.
It is.
Push full run
full run.
drive.
It
Next
punches.
time we're putting a golf drive.
Yeah, we need golf. I'll tell you what, boys, my handicap is coming down.
Your Insta story the other night, I was in fucking tears.
Laura?
I messaged you. Yeah, it's Laura. It's like my beautiful Aquarius angel in the bottom right corner is your handicap. What song did you have on
I
it?
play the same song every time.
It
It's
is.
the here, I'll get
Oh
it
my
up.
Or
god!
the
it was-
NFL song or some shit.
No, I've got a few of them, but
It was so funny. Like it was easily the funniest Insta story I've ever seen ever.
I
Like, it was
probably
just-
had 20 people
What's your
respond.
handicap at?
It's 18.3 at the moment.
Ooh.
Push, pull, swing.
18.6. Yeah, this song here. It's
Push, pull, swing.
the Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it's Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter.
What's been the main reason for your handicap coming down?
Because
The lessons with Steve-O,
hang
what's
on.
his name?
Trav, yeah. Trav sorting me out. I've got a great golf coach if anyone needs a golf coach.
Trav
Nah, gatekeep, bro.
Because I get a kick out of sending people to him.
Yeah.
I'm always like, let him know I sent ya.
Oh,
even though
yeah.
it does nothing for them or me. Like, there's no like, I just get a kick out of being like, I'm helping this guy. Not that he needs help. He's been doing it for like 20 years and he's a gun coach.
Yeah.
But
It's a big ego thing.
I'm just like, I just love that.
I just want Trav to know that I know people.
Yeah, no, that I'm
joking,
supporting him.
I'm joking,
Yeah, like
I'm joking.
because he's actually a gun. One thing, it's sort of like there'd be a term for it, but because you can after being a coach for fucking 10 years, but not just being a coach, like actually trying to get better at coaching, like your language, how you say things. Learning about cueing, learning about like how people learn skills and motor control and all of these sort of things. Like there's so many just like things you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Like overload people, use the wrong terms. Like he does it amazingly. Like he'll always bring it back to like what are you feeling and what like put it in your own words. So like you do these drills where you're like rotating. Not that any of you care of this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And like how you rotate.
About the transverse plane. We always
transverse plane. And then he'll be like, what does it feel like? And it's like just some random thought. And I'm like, I feel like a corkscrew. And it's like crazy. And then for the next 40 minutes, he's like, that corkscrew feeling. Remember that corkscrew? I need you to feel that corkscrew.
Build context, integrate the context.
And I'm like, man, this guy just knows what he's doing. And then every now and then I'll be like, man, I'm struggling. Like, what do I do? And he'll just take my club, my shitty fucking $1,000 club. Like $1,000 clubs. He's probably using like a $10,000 set. Mine are like $1,000.
Is it $1,000? Is it oh.
This is not the sport for me.
And
broke.
And he'll just like smack my clubs, and I'm like, holy shit! No, 100%. Golf is it's not a poor man's sport at all.
It's a wealthy sport.
But do you want to know how I bought my
your $1,000 club?
Do you know how I bought my clubs?
You're poor.
Remember when you used to get COVID back in the old days, and then the government would just give you a lump sum for taking
Use the
time
lump
off?
sum.
Just use the lump sum. Thanks, Dan Andrews. Yeah.
As a taxpayer, I'm very happy that that's no legit.
Yeah.
It's fucking oath.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Serious.
Supporting take advantage of those
handicap.
If you didn't take advantage of those lump sums, bad luck. Yeah,
I've noticed that coaching thing though with running. So I like to look at running technique videos on YouTube, and I'm like, man, you're just saying words.
Yeah,
you're just saying words. This means nothing. It's like it's trying to sift through all the shit. And now I can see why people get so confused with lifting, because there's a lot of that in the lifting. It's just words. No context.
Absolutely.
And doesn't mean anything.
It's just jargon, and it's an attempt to sound smarter. But in the process of doing that, you actually limit. You limit the amount of progress the person can make.
Like
and throwing a cue out fucking randomly without actual context to the individual, like
mid-lift,
mid-lift. It's like, hold on a second, what the hell did you just say? Like, and it's like like you said, corkscrew to you makes sense. Imagine if old Travmar goes to Didier fucking session one as he's pulling, I don't know, he's pulling swing back. I don't know, lay back, whatever it's called. And he goes, corkscrew, Mark. And Didier's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And I'm like, should I know this? Am I wrong for not understanding this?
Like, like it's you need context. You need that explanation. Even if it takes a little bit of extra whatever, like there's not a golden cue that's going to be it for the person.
There was a good cue in the Science of Running book, an external cue. For keeping your head and torso still. He said, when you're running, look at the horizon. If you're seeing the horizon doing this, he's like, keep the horizon still. And I've been doing
Stabilize that horizon.
Stabilize the horizon. But I've been doing it, and I'm like,
stabilizing the horizon.
It's like an external cue where, like, all right, I feel my torso is not moving around as much. It's actually staying. But again, an external cue. And then I've been watching these other running videos, technique video, and it's just talking about this and that and this. I'm like, this means nothing.
Yeah.
And you can see why people just have no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, obviously
corkscrews
getting some lessons has helped, but I think just playing more.
hasn't helped Claz though.
Oh, Claz has just started. He'll be right. He'll be right. Claz will come.
I suppose he was at the gym the other day. He's like, I imploded. Imploded.
Maybe too much external cue.
Apparently he couldn't hit the ball. He just was like, can't do it. Can't do it.
Absolutely. At some point, I know there's a lot of people that want the Strength Culture Golf Day. It will come. It will happen. I don't know when it will happen, but it will happen. It's on my list of things to do. I want to build that community, that golf community. So if you're interested, again, keep sending me your name because I've got a list in my phone, but it will happen when it happens. Alrighty, we're going to come. Well, speaking of this might be the last good topic, is this idea of technique breakdown. We had a discussion off air about technique breakdown, and I think it would be a good.
Bulls, just go.
No, I've got nothing to go. Let Jamie introduce the topic.
I think because technique obviously is something that a lot of lifters are trying to control, and I think that it's a fantastic thing to focus on. I think also a lot of people go too far and let technique, either the pursuit of a perfect technique, limit them, and they never actually push themselves further or anything like that, or they're not open to the idea of like changing and modifying just a small thing with technique, because it can fall in both categories where people get like hyper fixated on, I'm losing my position, and then all of a sudden they don't push themselves and they don't really want to like progress their lift,
or it's even the fear of losing position.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the fear that they're not having the perfect sort of position or transition or whatever it is, holds them back from actually just lifting more loads. Because in the end of the day, like you should be confident enough that you can go to a position or go to a point that you can actually challenge your strength. I think it's an important part of building strength is going to the perimeter of your potential.
The deep end.
Yeah.
And training there. And then accumulating reps there.
Yeah.
Because your top end strength technique is just a representation or reflection of what your total training volume is like.
So if you
that was great.
It was great. It was great. So if the average rep you do is not consistent, a bit all over the place, when it comes to that top end, what happens with your technique is probably going to be unpredictable. You're probably not going to know what ends up happening there. What I was going to say there is like, I guess the caveat would be if everything you do is like an RPE 10 and you're constantly breaking down technique and never allow yourself to find that sweet spot, obviously that's not ideal. But if you can pull back a little bit and stay in that general zone, we want to look for RPE 7 to 8, that's probably going to be challenging enough to where your technique may break down, but not so challenging that you're not going to have any ability to maintain your technique. Because obviously people get stuck in the think, oh, I'll stop there. That was a shit sentence. What I was going to say was you need to be willing to allow your technique to break down, because if you never push hard enough to allow your technique to break down, you're probably not doing training that's hard enough. Doesn't mean you should try to make your technique break down. But if the fear of technique breakdown stops you from making progress, well, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
yeah. And even then, like from a coach's perspective, it's like that breakdown gives us something to work on. And I think where a lot of coaches do go wrong is like preventing the individual from making the mistake. It's like, man, let the reps suck, like let it break down, and then from here we've got a point to work on. Obviously, we're not going to let someone do some busted shit to the point where it's like, all right, there's going to be some dramas here, but like it's getting that, pushing that, and then going from there and using that as baseline to go from, and then doing some sub-maximum work or focusing on that with your rep stuff, and it's like, all right, now we're actually going to consolidate some solid technical gain based around that breakdown. You know, not just like fucking just doing busted shit all the time or maxing out all the time. Like this is something that I think always, like, you try and get someone to implement a cue with like top end weight, they're going to struggle. Like if they've been doing, say if it's their every single warm up and going up to their singles with a certain technique, and then right before they go to this single, change this, they're gonna struggle. Like Jesus, they're gonna have problems with that. I actually have no idea where I was going with this.
I think you made your
zero idea.
I think you made your point though.
I think that the point is you want to train heavy enough so that you're forced to use good technique. If you get a little bit of breakdown, that's okay. but it's got to be heavy enough that you're forced to use good technique. It can't be too light that you just, because then once you
Go
do
through the
get
motions.
yeah.
Because just like how like cues need to come from context, you need to give the person a cue that is relevant to them, that makes sense to them. What we're focusing on with technique needs to be relevant. And the only way we find that out is by actually pushing hard. Because if you cap someone's intensity so low, their technique never breaks down, you don't know exactly what it is they're going to need to work on, because then it's going to be unlikely they deviate from good technique.
Yeah. I think it's
Techers, corkscrews.
corkscrews, Mark.
Yeah, I think all the technical shit as well is like to prevent deviation from like this quote unquote perfect technique. That's different for the individual as you get closer to those weights. Like that's the whole point of it. Yeah, right, there's going to be some breakdown, but you want it to get to the point where it's either you're missing a lift not because of technique, but because you're not strong enough. Like that's the ultimate goal, I think, of like doing varied practice and making sure that we're improving the person's technique as a whole, and like we focus on this specific thing. Like you said, like it's either you're not strong enough or you're strong enough, not butchering it because you're fucking squatting on your toes.
Like you don't want to call execution the reason why you didn't hit a lift. You wanted to know that I just couldn't physically lift this amount of weight. It was just too heavy for me to do. That's the goal.
Stubis's deadlift is like the best example, because so many people, even when he pulled that 350 at Pro Raw, looks technically perfect. People are like, lift more, but we know, and Stubis knows as well, he put 5 more kilos on there.
I reckon he had 360. I reckon he had another 10.
Look, that day
Raw.
he probably did.
But the
He
point
moved
remains,
very well.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the point is that it will.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to the.
It will look perfect, and then it just won't move. So he'll either be strong enough to do that 1 kilo, or the next kilo it'll just tick over. And that's just, he's just, obviously there's with sumo deadlift as well, and he's a very traditional sumo puller. The sticking point's off the floor. So if you do have sound technique, it's not going to break the floor. Whereas with like a squat, you're going to come to the bottom of the squat, get halfway, and then. But again, technique. Like I feel like there's so many lifts you'll say they just don't. They hold their technique. They're just not strong enough, and it comes down.
With that, I think to get a bit more in the weeds, the more like extreme your technique is, the more that's true. So if you have like a super wide bench with a super big arch, super wide stance sumo, maybe even like a wider stance squat, that margin for error becomes lower, where like it'll seem like an RPE 9 looks like there's heaps more in the tank, but that lifter knows, and you know from experience, they're close to that limit, versus someone who may be a closer grip bench, conventional deadlift, just like a more squatty squat. They have that kind of more ability to stick with it a little bit more, you tend to see. So that margin for error is a little bit greater, but obviously when it gets to those more extreme techniques, you've got to kind of make it or you don't. There's no kind of like room for error.
If you enjoy the way in which we view and talk about training, I'm going to assume that you'd probably also enjoy the programming and the strategies we use for our clients and athletes here at Strength Culture. You can get free access to all of our programs by using the code podcast through the first link down below, as well as a whole bunch of educational videos where we help you understand and better apply the things that we talk about in the podcast. Again, first link down below, podcast as the code, and your first month is completely free.
I wish people just admitted that they weren't strong enough to lift a weight as well.
That's my favorite thing.
That's a big
Like
one.
it's very. I feel like
Post-comp recaps.
yeah, it's a simple sport. You're either strong enough, your technique's good enough. You either broke down technically, and that's why you didn't lift it. Something happened technically, or you just weren't strong enough to lift the weight.
Or
battling the
as
headwind.
is what often is the problem.
Battling the headwind.
People
Or Buzz was pissing
people
on you.
lift. Or just you're battling some urine demons.
The headwind, mate.
Buzz was standing in the front row. pissing
Throw
on
off
you.
my balance.
the roll door's open. Center of mass. But now what I was going to say is
Stiff breeze.
what often is the issue is that people lift to shit standards, and then they have to lift in front of a ref, and then it fucks them. Like their squats are always borderline. They're always touch and go in their bench. They don't lock them out, and then suddenly they have to do it, and they think, oh, I just misgrooved. It's like, nah, bro, you always train shit, and then when you had to train to a high standard,
Yeah,
you
you try
crumble.
to execute essentially a different exercise.
Literally,
Like-
100%. Like, I touched and go to, but it was still an RPA. Like, it's like, nah, you didn't perform a pause.
This is not the exercise.
It's not the same exercise
Yeah,
at that point. Like,
Another
if you're
one
not
that
lucky
shits
deadlift out.
me is the knee sleeves. And Alex Hayes put this up yesterday. And I've always said
He
this.
made a couple of great stories yesterday.
I've always said this. And he goes, man, too many young lifters worrying about the knee sleeves, spending 20 minutes putting them on and off. He's like, you get an extra 2 sets in, you get stronger. And I've just always said, like, just train, focus on getting a bigger squat. And then, once you worry about those knee sleeves that are going to give you a bit more.
Yeah.
When you're new and getting into lifting, the INZER ones are the ones that at the moment, they're not going to, like, that's not making or breaking your squat. Just get better at squatting.
I think there's a new
that's
set
it.
coming.
There's some
New set.
Titans, them Titans. Apparently, they're even crazier. Like they can
Wasn't
hold.
there like they had a
They can hold a
25
25
kilo
kilo
plate
plate.
on
On top. If you put 2 of them, they hold a 25 kilo plate. Nuts, tempting, but also
Just wrap your knees.
That's the thing. That's the thing. If you really want to go crazy, wrap your knees. But I
feel like it's falling into the.
We're going back.
Equipped. It's falling into.
We're going back.
We are. Like, what point?
It's the circle.
People always say, oh, it's not the same. Like, it's not the same as reps and whatever else. But it's like, all right,
but then
yeah,
This
we can
is
say that.
literally how equipped lifting started.
Yes,
It used to be there's some bandages, like the type of shit you'd use when you have a fucking injury.
Then
Then there was single
stiffer
ply,
reps.
then it was multiply, then it was like quadruple ply, and then people were like, oh, it's a bit crazy. People can't hit depth. Let's go back to raw. Like,
And that's what's going to happen with these sleeves. They're tight and bring them out, and the next guy brings it, and then before you know it, these sleeves
wrap,
are locking you, and it's basically a wrap. And then there's going to be another raw division because this is the sleeve division, and this is the raw division. It's going to be, it's the same shit.
it's funny in
literally how it
competition,
started.
you have to be able to put your knee sleeves on unassisted by yourself. Like, you can't use straps to put them on. If they, I'm not saying this has to be the case, but if it got out of hand, they could make it. You have to be able to remove the knee sleeves by yourself, because there's a lot of people with these who train at this gym even who cannot remove the sleeves by themselves. So that if it got a bit out of hand, they could say you need to be able to put these sleeves on and remove it. And yeah, not everyone's going to be caught out, but if someone fucking patrols
The new powerlifting rule, you need to be able to dress yourself.
Yeah, if you can't, which is equipped though, man. Because with equipped, you can't put on the equipment by yourself. You need someone else to be there to put your suit on.
Have you seen the?
Or
Have
a
you seen
tool. You need to.
Yeah, you need a fucking
Have
spanner or
you seen
some
the video
shit,
of them? You like
some
tightening
pliers. That's what they use. They use pliers, man, to fucking put their straps on. I mean, their wraps on,
funny.
their knee wraps.
Have you seen the videos where like they're trying to get like the squat briefs on, and they're like hanging from the bars, and they're like using their body weight to like
It's nuts.
jostle into the straps.
All this BDSM talk. Maybe we should turn this into a equipped gym.
Yeah.
Track those certain kinds.
Hang from my swing.
I'd consider maybe getting some of those more aggressive knee sleeves at some point, but honestly, if I couldn't remove them by myself, I wouldn't wear them. Because
Is it an ego
I don't
thing?
Yeah, you're such a.
You want to be able to dress yourself?
If you ever asked me to pull your knee sleeves off, I'm like,
No way.
off,
Because
honestly.
like, it means I have to train when certain people are around. I can't just go up to some random person like, oh, can you go at Genesis? Can you remove my knees? It's like, what the fuck? Like, if you, I just want to be able to do. Are we able to go to the
Up to
gym?
the guy on the elliptical is like, hey, bro, do you mind?
If I can't take them off by myself, I don't know.
I don't know.
Look, here's the thing: if you're coming second at nationals and your opposition's wearing fucking INZERs, and that'll help you beat them, whatever. But if you're just if you're like me, just an average Joe, want to get a little bit stronger, if you can be fucked, fair enough. But I just don't understand it. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze.
I personally think they shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we're going back to the raw thing, it's like, well, it's exactly the same thing, and it's like they definitely help you squat more. Like so many.
Well, Mike Teixeira, he reckons they don't.
They don't.
So
It's all in the head.
it's all in the head. He's
Biopsychosocial.
so Mike Teixeira has like 10 years of data speed tracking on his bar, bought a pair, and he's like, they don't. They at no load do they make me squat more.
You know that Mike Teixeira would not be emotionally influenced by knee lifts. He would be the most objective person. He would just look at it and say, I know that these are not helping my power
helping
output.
my squat speed.
He is Captain Objective.
But he's also said that he's got a bunch of people that he's shared the data with, and obviously he's got other people that do a whole bunch of VBT and all that sort of stuff, and they're all like, they don't actually help your squats.
I'll say once.
Then leave him in.
Look, I'm not the biggest squatter going around, but I'll say every time I've forgotten my knee sleeves, my regular fucking strong knee sleeves, it's not that I can't squat the same weight. It just doesn't feel as nice. Like I can hit the same weight as the previous week. It's just my knees don't love it as much. So I think that obviously there's something to that.
Sleeveless versus
Sleeveless,
strong.
like every now and then, like my
Subjective
sleeves will be at home. I can still squat. It's just I'd prefer to do it with knee sleeves on. I think
course,
but whether or not they're actually contributing to fucking force output, I don't know. Other than like mentally, you just feel nice. It's just like
I mean, I get clients, I know people that aren't like super invested in powerlifting but love barbell training or have the intention to compete at some point or novice comp, whatever it is. And then it's just like, I always get the question at some point, it's like, oh, when should I get knee sleeves? I'm like, whenever the fuck you want. Like, honestly, like, are you getting stronger right now? It's like, yeah, all right, well, you can get them if you want. If you've got
the exact same thing
If
I
you've got
say.
the dollars to fork out, whatever it is, $100 plus, if you've got the dollars to fork out for it right now, get them. If you've got 4 months to wait,
If you've got 4 months to wait, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter.
I guess the only thing is, like, do you have some, like, very light knee pain? They'll probably help with that. Like, nothing crazy. But if it's just that your knees are a little bit niggly, it'll probably sort them out. Just like with wrist wraps or something like that.
You just don't do anything.
well, it's Mike Teixeira.
Charlie's convinced.
I'll see if it was either a post or a story, but he was like, he's like, I've put all this data against my old numbers, and they don't make you strong. There's no extra speed on any of his squats at any load or any RPE.
Maybe all these people, they're just getting stronger.
Maybe it's all just
and
the
they've placeboed
BPS
themselves.
model.
That's it.
Which we love.
Yeah, it's BPS BDSM. That's what it is. We're going to go, though, because...
Good place to be.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you very much for listening. 5 stars on Spotify. Subscribe on the YouTube channel and jump in the DMs if you're interested in coaching. We'd love to work with you towards your goals. But we'll see you next week.
Bye.